Right, here we go. Heel work. Lowering heel work. As you can see, I have on a rather muddy pinewood training vest, purely because Flack has been um, changed over to fish kibble. I don't really want it in my jeans, so what I'm going to do is put you up here. Got the full car park so I can get some nice long shots. So you can see plenty. Oh, you can see literally the whole car park. Right, beautiful. So before we get into this, the thing I want to discuss is that you still have to go and do all your principles that come before these steps, i.e. the pivot box, rear end awareness, position, all that jazz. This is just another way of moving forward, and it allows you to start taking dynamic steps a little bit earlier. The problem with heel work is that there are 153,000 ways of training it. There isn't a right way, there isn't a wrong way. This is whatever works for you, whatever works for your dog. Some dogs do better like this, some dogs do better the way I taught it the first time. Depends if you want a natural or an organic or an unorganic head position. It depends on a multitude of factors, and they're all things that you're going to have to decide personally before you make a decision of where you go with this. So you need all your principles in first. Your dog needs to understand rear end awareness. It needs to understand the basic position, all that jazz, exactly the same as normal with the lure. The difference here is you remove the pivot box and start moving a lot earlier, so you can do a multitude of things when you're luring with food. And like I say, it depends what you want. So what I'm going to do now is grab Flat Bar out, and we'll get into this. Here he is. Big lad. Big lad. You haven't got your collar on. You haven't got your collar on because I used it for that video, didn't I? So the first thing you need to be doing, the first thing that I would do for every session, including this, is active dog reactive handler exercises. So there's a video on that, a full video on that, but we'll go over it briefly here as well. Basically now, I'm not asking Flack to do anything, but he's trying desperately to engage with me. So no matter where I go, this dog's coming with me. I haven't got any food out. I haven't done anything. I haven't given him any cue that we might be training, other than the fact that I'm talking on a video, which is fairly common. And if he wants to go off, that's fine. If he doesn't, that's fine. So when you're playing active dog reactive handler like this, you can play a few games just to start things off. I'll chuck a bit of food on the floor. He comes back, give him some more. Just make sure this dog's listening. Before you start asking questions about how to train advanced behaviours, you have to make sure that this dog is actually listening to me and wants to work. If the dog doesn't want to work, it's fucking wasting our time. Yeah, good boy. So as you can see, this dog wants to come and work with me, wants to engage me, wants to do something. And that's beautiful. Because if he didn't, he's missed it. If he didn't, what's the point? And he can sniff. I'm not calling him, if you noticed, I'm not saying anything to him. Super. Other than giving him his continuation markers and reward markers and things like that. But I'm not now calling him to me and saying, please come over and engage with me. It's his choice to come and engage, that's fine. And then if I just walk around and do nothing, yeah, super boy. I don't have to throw the food out. That's just one example of an active dog reactive handler principle. So I come to about here. Flick. Call your dog into heel position. Push. So you can start lowering from here. You can start lowering all sorts. I don't care that he's not in a perfect position. I don't care that he's coming up a little bit. That's fine. I want him to be pushy into this food. If he's not pushy into the food, then you haven't got enough compulsion, enough drive, enough desire. Yes, super. So when he gets pushy, I'll reward him for it. A lot of you are not going to like this because a lot of you are like, how do I make my dog gentle? Push. And if you want a gentle dog, you don't want a competition obedience dog. Super. So he's pushing into my hand, and I'll just try and show. I'll just try and show you how I'm holding this. So I'm holding it, the kibble with got my thumb over it. So my thumb's over it, and he's pushing in and trying to get it out. Push. So he's pushing. Can you see him pushing? He's like nibbling and biting, and yeah, super, classy, youngie. Yes. And I let him push and let him push and let him push. And this is the first thing I want. I want that dog to have some desire to come forward to work. Push. Good. Good boy. Get it then, good boy. Super. And I can encourage him, and that's fine. Yes. Just take my wedding ring off because he ends up gloving me. Good. Yes. So once you've got this pushiness, you can start moving on into other things. And you can do this on a pivot box. You can do it off a pivot box. It doesn't matter. This is just some activities you can do lowering this heel work. I dropped one. Bugger. So like I say, thumb over the kibble so you can't get it. And obviously you can hold this however you like. This is just a way I know works. So then I can start doing turns. And he's pushing, and he's pushing. And he can have a bit, that's fine. And he's pushing, and he's pushing, and he's turning, and he's staying with me. And I can help him round by turning his head away from me. So the more I turn his head away from me, the more his body will go into a natural left bend. And the easier he can bring his body around. Obviously this is easier with a smaller dog, because they're a bit more agile, a bit less cumbersome. So you've got this, and you can also do it on the other side. Now, Flack doesn't know the other side heel, but you can see now. You can see if I help, there we go. If I help him, he can start to pivot on this side as well. And it's not going to be perfect. He's never done this a lot in his life. In fact, I might teach him on both sides today just for something a bit different. But you can teach both sides. It's not a problem. I would probably teach one side well, and then teach the other side. Push. Good. Push. So the important thing is that he's pushing into this. And then what I can start doing is playing different games. So we've done some turns, and he do side steps. And again, I can turn his head away from me, yes, and help him. I can help him work. The important thing is that you help your dog when you're in these early phases of training. Yeah, good boy. And I'm not doing a million reps of this over and over again. So like now, we can play a few of these games again. We lost it. Oh, Jesus. I'm not doing a million reps over and over again. It's about letting the dog win. This is training. It's not competition day. So make it easy. Push. 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 Jesus. So we can do some side steps. And like I say, I can turn his head away from me to keep him straight. Good. Yes, super boy. So that's called lateral work. Lateral work's good for dogs with hip dysplasia, things like that. It's also good to have this dog moving in every direction I can possibly think of before we even think about walking forwards. Push. So, can he come backwards? Good. Yes. And it's all these little games that you can play, and little tricks you can do, and bits and bobs here and there. And then what you can start doing once you've got all these directions, bits and bobs, having fun, push, you can start moving. So I'm still keeping my low here. I'm still keeping my low with the dog, but off I can go on my way. Oh yeah. Good boy. And I still want him pushing. Push, push, push. Good boy. Super. And this is how you get that artificial head position. Or it's certainly one of the ways you can get it. Good boy. He dropped it. Push. So like then, he just thought he dropped a piece. He stopped. I'm not bothered. Good boy. Good. Super. Yes. So this is all luring with food here. And then as time goes on, you start fading that lure out. There's a video on fading the lure. You start fading the lure out, and then you can either move to food out the pocket, which he's not so big on. Flack. You push. Oi. Good boy. Yes. So then I just go into my pocket, and I reach in and give him the food. Or, another option for you. Hi, Flacky. Another option for you is that you can go to the ball, which Flack's much bigger on. He likes food if we lure him with it, but you'll see now his drive will go up massively. The one thing I will say, The one thing I will say is if you're going to do the ball, I'd be inclined not to put it under your arm. It's caused me a lot of headaches. Off. So now the ball's hidden. So you faded the lure away, and you want to move over to a ball. Push. Ball. So now this dog will just heel. Because he knows the ball's coming, even though it's not visible. Good boy. Super junge. Sehr sprachige Junge. Good so. Good so. And then you've just got to bring the duration up. So at the moment, I'll do. Good boy. I'll bring him back up to the camera once. Up here, like this. And then I'll reward from here. However, when you reward, you need to be aware of where you're rewarding from. Loss. Back up. Boy. So I'm bringing it out because I can't reward on the fly when the ball's stuck in that hood. Yes. Now spin him away from me and give him the ball. Good boy. Super young. Here. And then we just go again. And this is what training is. It's just putting this puzzle together. Look. Here. Los. Exhalos. Off. Exhale off. Kalise. Enough. At least he's screaming because she wants to come and train because she hasn't trained for a week because she's on box rest. Puss. So you see this dog's got full understanding. Off. Now if I come and stand over here and I call him to heel, he'll just come in to heel. Puss. Super. Off. And you can do all these exercises. Basically what you want to start doing is playing around with heel position. It's not this big, scary, daunting scientific task. Puss. Good. Sorry, Misha pulled up. She just got back from work, so I had to talk to her, see how she'd been, and then get back on. Puss. So yeah, just enjoy this, guys. Just enjoy the heel work. It's a fun behaviour you can have, and it obviously looks cool. Like it's one of them enjoyable ones, isn't it? Sit. And then you can start adding other stuff into it. Add your sit into it, add your down into it, add your positions. We did a video on that the other week. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, enjoy your heel work. It shouldn't be this big stressful ordeal. Enjoy time with your dog. Enjoy training. You know, this is what our days look like. It's not angry and stressy and you're gonna flop. Of course you are. Of course you are, because you always do. Just enjoy it. Have fun. But there's an example of how you can do some lowering work with your heel work. You are such a sap, mate. It's unreal. I love you though. You're cool. Right, I'm gonna go put him away. Get these videos edited. If you've got any questions regarding heel work, shoot me up in the WhatsApp group or Facebook group or wherever, and get some videos. It's very hard. You know, people say like, my dog's not looking at me right. What do? I don't know how your dog's looking at you. If you split that claw again, you monkey. Stay still. Bloody haven't you? You split this one? No. Right, that needs filing then. Last. Just split the end of his claw. Nothing bad. It's just the sheath on the top. I'll just grind it off later on. Right, hit me up on the WhatsApp group if you've got any questions. Go put this big lad away. And enjoy it. Enjoy training. Training should not be this horrendous thing. So enjoy it.